So today we're going to finish working on deseaming the back end of the Spitfire tub for the Spit 6. Let's see, I'll get you caught up to date with where everything's at in case you hadn't seen the previous video. Also, last video has been working on the Spitfire. So let's take a quick walk around here. So, back up. Probably hear Saya in the background woofing. So, here's where I started working on this side. It's all welded up. I'm probably going to do check it for pinholes. Let's see later on, and we'll do some more welding. So here's where we last left off. And so I started taking this out. You can see I did like one section here and then another section here. So I'm doing it in waves. So we've already done 2 waves. Now we're going to do wave number 3. Coming all the way up around to here. And so I like to do, zoom out, nope, I like to do bigger sections when I'm welding because I get carried away and excited and I start wanting to weld a bunch, and if I stick in one area it warps, and so if I can do a little bit here and just kind of skip around real lightly. So what I plan to do is just kind of, once we get these last bits cut off, come through, tack weld those, kind of how I've already tack welded this so far, and so you can see, they're like an inch or 2 apart. And then I'll come through from the beginning and start, filling in all the spaces in between, and then maybe come back through again, or maybe filling in more spaces in between, just kind of like randomly throughout, just really trying to spread the heat out so that no one spot gets too hot and we start getting warpage and things like that. So that's where we'll get going. Before we get started, safety gear is always vital. Got our eye keepers and our hearing keepers. Hat is really great safety equipment. Keeps sparks from burning your head. And then I'm going to be wearing gloves today because last time when I was doing this I burnt my hand a bit. And it's not the end of the world. It's just minor inconvenience, and I only get one pair of hands, so it should take care of them. So anyhow, set you guys up and we'll get started. First with grinding, and we'll get to welding, and we'll see, I don't know where we're going to get to today, but that's where we'll get to. So, here we go. Alright, so I had to crack the garage door open. It was getting kind of smoky in here with all the sparks flying and welding and whatnot. So, um, let's see, got that in, got that tacked in. So next I'm going to go through and I don't know how this is going to look on camera and or how long this is going to take. I'll probably have to speed it up a whole lot. But I'm going to go through, like I was saying, a little bit at a time all the way through, and then I'm going to stay on the screen and all the way to the end and just kind of keep going through layer and layer and layer and layer and layer, so on and so forth. And then after that I'll come through and grind it, doing the same thing. Maybe get it to it today, maybe not get to it today. It'll happen as it happens. So here's the part where I guess the sound messed up on the camera. I'm starting to learn the limitations of this camera. It apparently doesn't like recording really long clips and breaks them up into smaller sections and decides to create errors and whatnot. So I'm talking over this part where there's no sound, so it's not, so it's a little more entertaining. Um, so usually I can talk about this concept too, and I like watching everyone else's channels as well, and different people like putting music in the background. Alin often plays classical music, which I love classical music and it sounds great. But then there's some other channels I've watched where they've got like some kind of stock sounds, music in the background. It sounds great like the first 5 or 6 times, and then it's like, golly, that same song again. Here we go. So anyhow, that's just my personal preference. But I like the sound of the machinery in the background, like the symphony of cacophony. It reminds me a little bit of as like teenager in my 20s and whatnot, listening to a lot of like industrial music and metal music. So it's kind of fun for me. But here we go. Hopefully, maybe the sound will kick back in just a second. so I might end this episode here. I might keep it going. This welding takes a while. I'll show you up close a little bit more what I was doing. So you can see here, it's like stitching across. If it'll focus. Alright, so anyhow, yeah, stitching across, and I kind of jumped around. Turned out alright. You know, it looks ugly when it's slapped on there, but it grinds up much more nicely. I'm hoping there's enough penetration. You know, trying to be gentle and difficult with it at the same time. And so it, the biggest problem area I had was right around here. I don't know if the grinding, I didn't get enough of the paint off there, and it was, acting all up on me and dripping and catching and not wanting to stick and all the things. So got that, coming along through here. I'm pretty sure I'm all right. Oops. There's some places that were thinner than others. Come around here. This especially was pretty nasty in here. Not wanting to stick, really sputtering all over the place. So I went and checked to make sure my gas was on, and it was. But for the MIG welder, this is, I don't know. I got enough stuff catching in there. I'm just going to grind it down really well and see what we got and go from there. So, next steps are, I got to grind this down like most of the way, the grinding wheel, and inevitably we'll have some pinholes. So what I'll do then is have like a flashlight back in here, shining through, see where the light's coming through, and then weld those holes shut, and then come through, and then grind a whole nother time, and then check again, make sure there's no pinholes. Wanted this thing to be sealed up nice and solid, and all be good metal. And then once that's done, grind it the rest of the way down. Get the told that the term for it is a flat disc, for the angle grinder, kind of like sandpaper stuff. But anyhow, be like a finer grind, so it's not so incredibly rough like some of this other stuff is. Grind that down, and then get it nice. Put some of the rust converter primer on there, and then we're moving on to some of the next stuff. So this has kind of been my measure of success with this car. Is this green color? I'm not terribly fond of it. I don't know, not my favorite color. But anyhow, everything's going to be blue later on, and this has kind of been my measure of success. So once things are painted in this matte black, then that part of the car is finished. I used some regular primer there. There was no rust at all, but I like this stuff because there's going to be a rust somewhere. Try to get it off the best I can, but it's always good to get the converter on there too. So anyhow, I'm getting long-winded. That's that. Here we go. And we'll have more soon. All right, later.